Hopefully you guys are having a great weekend. I know I am, but we can't quite say the same for Hollywood because, well, they're kind of getting their crap pushed in hard by a lot of people from all corners of the earth. First and foremost, the first weekend of the last month of 2023, which is still kind of weird to think about. We're already here in December, huh? 2023 has really flown by, and, just here still get ready for 2024 because on all fronts, that's going to be wild. But Beyonce's a concert film, like you can go and hear all of those old goofy songs. Actually, don't sound like garbage. None of her stuff, I'm not a fan at all. And the fact that the media wants to say that, oh, she's won 32 Grammys, that makes her so much better than Michael Jackson. Or the fact that they want to crown, Bad Bunny as the new king of pop. I hate modern music as much as Hollywood hates telling good stories. But this film, and one other that we're going to be spotlighting, is doing something right. It knows its audience, it's filling a gap, and it's reaping the profits. Of course, there's not a lot of stuff that's out there right now, especially in the box office, where a woman, the single woman, a woman who's likely to unironically take the advice that Beyonce gives in all of her music, right? Who runs the world, right? Who all the single ladies, right? But who's the one who married the guy that she lost her virginity to? Who's the one who also, while that guy also cheated on her, stayed right by his side? Oh yeah, right, listen to what I say, don't watch what I do, right? But okay, yeah, Renaissance, a film by Beyonce, followed up on the success of Taylor Swift's concert video. Didn't quite do as well, but that's alright. Beyonce's still queen, right? And it looks like it's going to be top shit for the weekend, which is interesting. Very interesting. For all the snark that rival distributors had for AMC CEO Adam Aaron, the decision to open Renaissance on one of the dullest box office weekends of the year, the movie is proving to be sound so far as, the 32-time Grammy winner. There's a category for literally everything at this point in time. It's not exactly an apples to apples comparison to say that a modern musician is far more accomplished than anybody in the past, where now you can have your random answering machine call end up charting on the Billboard Top 200. It's a fucking joke. Concert documentary is seeing $20 to $24 million opening, and yeah, we'll have a much more clear picture by the end of the weekend. But as it sits right now, it looks like it's going to be far and away the winner. Number one take from will propel the entire early December marketplace from its best post-pandemic number with an estimated $95.3 million for all movies, which is, the best number. It's higher than the 2019 total. Interesting. The first weekend of December, which was, $90.3 million. Very interesting, but it kind of looks like the Beyonce film is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, because the next one after that is, 15.3, 15, something like that. Again, I just got to get around to, I just got to find the spot to do the Hunger Games one. See how well it's doing, guys? Oh my god, the drop-offs are not all of that bad, but you compare it to everything else that's been released in that franchise, and the fact that, all the projections seem to not really line up all that well with the actuals. But Rachel Zegler's a draw, guys. Please, I just need her to get some gas out there, because that shit'll be hilarious. But also, now we're starting to get some international flair, something that is actually going to turn a profit. Like, I don't know what the budget of the Beyonce film is. I'm sure it's going to make a lot of money, like actually make a lot of money, instead of, songbirds and snakes, which might end up breaking even, might even end up turning a minuscule profit, which is, of course, never the intention of these multi-million-dollar, tens of millions, hundreds of millions of dollars per project. They're not looking to spend $200 million in order to recoup $200 million. The entire point of this stuff is to make money. That's how the industry functions. But one film that is definitely going to turn a profit is Godzilla Minus One, which is being heaped with so much praise. Yet $10 million domestic is what it's shaping out to be. But we have the estimates for Friday. That's all that's in right now. We don't have anything for Saturday. We don't have projections for Sunday, obviously. But what it looks like right now, you got Beyonce up there at the top, and then you have Godzilla coming in at second, which I thought Songbirds and Snakes was supposed to be. Nah. See, of course, right? The media wants to tell you one story about that, but then the reality ends up telling a very different story. And then everything else that falls off after that. And then you can see Wish, and we can't even get, at number 10. Then you got the Marvels. Oh my god, another story for another time with the Marvels and how horrifically that's performing. But before we get into the bad, let's get into the good with Godzilla. And the fact is, it's gonna make a lot of money. $10 million? I'm thinking that's gonna be north of that, especially on Saturday, and especially with all the great word of mouth, because everybody likes this shit. Like, everybody likes this shit, okay? You can even take a look at top critics, all critics, top critics. It's 100% all audience. Okay, 97. Like, this thing is beloved, man. And given the fact, okay, that it's only been released, because that could be just a little bit misleading, right? Like, you got the international number that's just so far and away ahead of the domestic, and it's like, well, it's been right out in Japan for a month at this point in time. It released at the beginning of November, but also take into account that the UK won't even get this for another 2 weeks. Same with Brazil. China doesn't get it until tomorrow. This thing's gonna do big numbers, huge numbers. And the fact that everybody's enjoying it, well, that's just fantastic stuff. And then also couple that with the fact that it only cost $15 million. And on top of just the fact that this is good old-fashioned Godzilla fun, apparently it looks fantastic. I've seen a couple of clips and a few trailers, and it's like, no, man, that looks really good. And the fact that they only made that for $15 million? This only has the turn, like $50 million, and then it starts printing money. And the fact is, this thing's gonna make a lot of money because it has good word of mouth, unlike the rest of the stuff that you see on this list. Like, okay, you can earmark the Marvels at 10th, which is, again, kind of a spoiler for an upcoming film or an upcoming video that I have, where it's like, this is tracking worse than anything, just about anything superhero related, not just Marvel related, but might hear about that tomorrow, who knows. But I want to focus in on Wish here for a quick second, because, okay, we could see how well and how universally beloved Godzilla Minus One is. What about Wish? All right, the critics despise it. The audience, on the other hand, well, there's a lot of people. There's a lot of people who are bitching, moaning, whining, and complaining, saying that it's not actually like that bad. Okay, it's fine. Okay, it's no Tangled, but it just wasn't great. A lot of unfulfilled potential, but don't worry, guys, it's still going to be fine. But then you take a look at the box office, and holy shit, we actually, okay, in another video when I do something a little bit more in depth when it comes to this, Wish right now, it's tracking behind Strange Worlds. I know. I never thought, but I also had this exact same line with the Marvels. I didn't think it was ever going to be this bad, but here we are. So that also drives a stake in the heart to the idea that it's, oh my gosh, just superhero fatigue. No. It's same old fatigue. It's bad writing fatigue. It's Disney fatigue. The fact that it's seventh, the box office, behind what? A veritable who's that? Behind Trolls still? Trolls. Silent Night. A seasonal horror film in Thanksgiving? The Marvels is doomed. Wish, what are you doing? What in the blue hell are you doing? And remember, as it sits right now, $53 million. $53 million at the box office. And a $200 million budget, this thing has to make just about $500 million, if not better. It's got 10% of that heading into its second weekend. And it's already falling off goddamn cliff. I mean, these actuals are going to be horrific, but Disney in general is heading for something horrific. And their 2024 slate, well, just by sheer number of releases, they're not going to hit that $750 million loss mark on the year, because they only have a handful of releases. They have, on the Marvel side, all they have is Deadpool 3. I don't even think Lucasfilm is going to the theaters next year. Pixar might have something, and then I think Disney's the first one. They're the official proprietary studios. They're going to be the first one to release anything, but it's just, I think it's about a half dozen films that are going to be on the slate. And with Wish, it's going to be the biggest gap between releases that they've had in decades. It's like 6 months between the release date of Wish and their next upcoming feature, meaning that they're going to have to soak in the $750 million flop for 2023. Like, take a look at this breakdown. Okay, Ant-Man and the Wasp at the beginning of the year lost $37 million. Chevalier, I have no idea what that is, and there's very little known about it. Like, nobody knows the budget on it. I tried to look it up, and it's like, I don't even know what the fuck the film is, and it only made $4 million. So, okay, I'd imagine, even if it did cost $1 million, it's not even enough to make a dent in the amount of money that Ant-Man lost. Okay, Guardians of the Galaxy 3, the one lone bright spot, and making $98 million. Maybe, potentially, we still don't have the UK tax filings to see how much of a kickback that they get, and then the actual budgets on top of that. So $98 million profit. Okay, we'll give you that one. So okay, now you're in the black. That's totally fine. And then Little Mermaid lost $40 million. The Boogeyman, he's coming to get you. $14 million. Okay, still in the black. The Elemental lost $1.5 million. And again, that's a conservative estimate on that one. Well, we're using Breitbart as a source, so that totally makes sense. Indiana Jones and the Derp of Derpstiny, losing $158 million. All rats, we were doing so well for so long. And again, that's another thing where we're going to have to get those UK tax filings next year to figure out, oh God, that was actually even worse than that, with a budget of somewhere closer to $400 million. And then they end up getting like a $70 to $80 million tax credit for filming over there. Abysmal. And then Haunted Mansion. Okay, doing a remake of the Eddie Murphy live action gimmick from the early 2000s, right? Because Disney, okay, in their infinite wisdom, just because, you know, they had perfect casting with Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, thinking that they could turn the rest of their theme park rides into successful movies and then just make this big franchise off of that. Like, that one was a dud back in the cut, and then you release it in 2023 with a $200 million budget. What the fuck are you guys doing? Everybody forgets that came out like weeks after Indiana Jones did. I think it was like a couple of weeks it came out later, and nobody fucking cared. Seeing that, $141 million. But I'm sure the likes of Bob Iger will just go ahead and tell you it was a big hit on Disney Plus, and everybody's accustomed to going and seeing it a month and a half later. Wow, if people actually wanted to see something, if there was good word of mouth about it, if people didn't continuously get burnt by your company, they would go to the theaters, okay? Even if it did come out on streaming or on physical media later. Wasn't that always, okay, like, when I was going to the theaters and when I was actively consuming Hollywood output, it wouldn't put me off from seeing whatever blockbuster was in the theaters, okay? Just because I knew that I could eventually get the DVD copy of The Dark Knight didn't stop me from going to the theaters. I went to the midnight release of Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince and Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2, even though I knew in a couple of months' time I would be able to get the DVD or the Blu-ray. Did they have Blu-rays for that back then? I know I got a couple of different fucking collections of Harry Potter and Dark Knight, but that didn't stop me. So again, it's just as stupid as saying that, COVID was the reason that the Marvel sucked a dick. Yeah, sure thing. But anyways, continuing on, The Creator, which actually heard decent things about. But again, if it's put out by Disney at this point in time, nobody's giving it the benefit of the doubt, losing $68 million. Don't want to oversell that. And the Marvels, we don't even know. Global gross at $250 million? I'm going to tell you, it's going to have a tough time hitting 200, okay? Because it's still, right now, at time of recording, and I know we don't have international, take a look at that, under $190 million. It ain't. It's going to flirt with $200 million, but that's going to be tough. And the budget is also north of $300 million, so that number could be climbing as well. Next, The Goal Wins. No fucking idea. I guess that's in and gone like a fart in the wind. Holy shit, $10 million on a $25 million budget. So again, like, okay, if that's what Disney was doing along with all of these things, okay, given The Creator $50 million, okay, The Haunted Mansion never should have got $200 million. The rest of this stuff, like, I know, it seems like lofty budgets, but it kind of makes sense. Like Pixar, I don't know why you need $250 million. You could have probably shaved $100 million off of that. Okay, Boogeyman, 55. Yeah, that's all right. Little Mermaid, $325 million for. I guess you got $1 million for every inch Halle Berry's eyes were apart. Guardians of the Galaxy 3, that's still way too fucking much, even though that was your best performing film of the year. And Ant-Man and the Wasp, the exact same things. If you guys would have just simply had a fucking plan. Okay, and then, noting that Wish, which it's not going to hit. It's not going to hit 150 million. Holy fuck, it might not. Guys, it might not hit a fucking 100 million. So yeah, my public school math, as it's being reported, I think Nick Nolte's the one who's writing this. My public school math shows that Disney's grooming syndicate lost $745.5 million with its theatrical releases this year. I'll be able to do something right close to the end of the year once we get more accurate estimates, or rather more accurate totals on the Marvels and Wish, because those are going to be the ones that are really going to tell the tale of the tape. But I think we're approaching, and it's not too far-fetched to believe that it's going to be somewhere in the realm of 800 to $900 million lost by Disney. And do you think with their limited release of film in 2024, they're going to be able to course correct? Well, also, okay, when we take a look at what else they have on the list for 2024, and this is not even factoring into the disaster that they had on their hands in 2023, look at all of their streaming content, okay? Like She-Hulk had a budget north of $200 million. Ahsoka, that piece of shit, okay, on the Star Wars side of things, had a budget north of $200 million. Was that offset by the amount of subscriptions that were driven to the platform? No, man. The losses in general for Disney, like, we're never really going to have tangible evidence for how big of a disaster all of those streaming shows were in 2023. But in totality, their losses in 2023, I think it's fairly safe to say, they're going to total over $1 billion, which is so fucking wild to think about. But is Disney going to course correct? Disney staring down the barrel of the gun on every single cinematic front that they have. Are they going to course correct? Fucking of course not. You see everything else that's out there. They're just going to double down harder until Apple comes in to try to save the day, buys them out, and then it just gets even woker from there. Because if you think Apple's going to fucking course correct, hell no. At this point in time, guys, everything that has that brand of Disney attached to it, it has the mark of failure from the House of Mouse. Just stay away from it. Because not for any moral crusade or anything like that, okay? Maybe that'll be your disposition behind it, but just for the fact that they aren't producing anything good. Of the 4 films that are up there, I haven't heard one decent review, let alone glowing. No, of course not. Indiana Jones, nothing but tripe. Wish, cataclysmically terrible by the people that actually did venture to the cinema. Little Mermaid, nothing but girl boss empowerment. And then, of course, the Marvels, well, less said about that, the better. Hollywood could be in trouble, but entertainment in general, especially by taking a look at what's going on across the pond with the likes of Godzilla and a couple of sparks of hope from a few other things, I think we'll be fine. Could be rough going, and more than likely will be, but I think we're all going to make it out just fine. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.